On today's show, we relive the stunning victory in Blacksburg, and we share some exciting news about Coach Freeze's future as a Flame.
Plus, it's National Signing Day for Liberty basketball. Who will join Richie McKay's squad? You'll find out right now. This is Flame Central. Liberty football will never be the same. What's up? Welcome to Flame Central. She's Emily, I'm Matt, and we have got to start today's show on the gridiron. That's
right. When Hugh Freeze took over as head coach of Flames football, we knew he had a chance to be successful, but the rise we are witnessing is exceeding all expectations.
And that rise, it may not be ending for quite a while, Emily.
That's right. Breaking news coming out earlier this week that Freeze's future as a Flame, say that 5 times fast, looks pretty bright, Matt.
You're talented.
Liberty definitely isn't taking Coach Freeze for granted after a historic start to his career on the mountain. The university announcing it has extended its contract with head coach Hugh Freeze through the 2026 season. Freeze and his Flames are currently riding an undefeated 7-0 start to this season. Flames Nation hoping that success continues to rise with Freeze locked in at Liberty until 2026.
Yeah, this was Freeze's second contract extension in the last 11 months. So why would you give a guy 2 extensions in less than a year? Well, there's the 7-0 start Emily talked about, the top 25 ranking, and perhaps the result from this past Saturday against Virginia Tech played a factor as well. The Flames were 2-touchdown road underdogs trying to change the football hierarchy in the Commonwealth. First drive of the game, Malik Willis, not shaken by the ACC stage, delivers a beautiful ball to C.J. Yarbrough, and the Flames go up 7-0. Early second quarter, Willis throwing it again, this time to tight end Jerome Jackson. Flames go up 14-3, but hold on. Hokies quarterback Hendon Hooker wasn't going away. He would throw for TD, run for one, and lead them on a drive just before the half that ended in a field goal to put Virginia Tech up 20-14 at the break. Second half, things continue to be tight. Willis, touchdown scamper, and a TD toss to Johnny Huntley. Turning into tight end U here, put the Flames up 8. But the Hokies tied it at 28-all with under 6 minutes to play. How would Liberty handle crunch time? Just fine. Willis led the Flames on a 9-play, 75-yard drive, punctuated by a Peyton Pickett TD. Flames go up by a score with 1:41 to go, but there was too much time. Virginia Tech scored with 49 ticks left to tie it up. Pressure back on the Flames. They would attempt a 59-yard field goal to win it, but it was blocked. Alex Barbier's kick blocked, scooped up, returned for a game-winning touchdown. But hold on. Hokies head coach Justin Fuente, for some reason, called a timeout right before the play, and Liberty has new life. They would then run a play, pick up 8 yards, giving Barbier a 51-yard opportunity. That was close enough. He would drill the biggest kick in program history. The Flames go into Blacksburg and knock off the Hokies 38-35, their second ACC win this season, and more importantly, keeping their record an unblemished 7-0. And as if it couldn't get any better, Emily talked with Hugh Freeze earlier this week.
Here with the man himself, head coach Hugh Freeze. Coach, what a game, what a finish. You know, you said that you heard Virginia Tech call the timeout, and then you get the quick 4th down conversion. So I want to fast forward to what is going through your mind when Alex Barbier is setting up to kick a 51-yard field goal.
I honestly was very calm, and I just thought he was going to make it. I don't know. He's leg strength's not an issue, and he seems to. I mean,
he's massive. What does he squat? So we would hope his leg strength.
I don't know those numbers, but I know I've seen him enough in practice where he swings freely at longer field goals. And 59 is a stretch for anybody, so the extra 8 yards made me even feel more confident that I think, I just felt like he was going to make it.
Coach, you've accomplished so much in your coaching career. Beat Nick Saban and his Crimson Tide back-to-back. Where does this rank, this win over Virginia Tech, where does it rank in your list of accomplishments?
The emotion of winning that first Alabama game was the same emotion I felt Saturday, but I have to think that this was a larger accomplishment. I mean, if you just look at the recruiting classes of what they've recruited and give them credit, I mean, they're a top 25 program for the last 2 decades. So when you look at that disparity, I would say that this accomplishment is bigger than the Alabama win. Emotions are the same because you fight with these kids, and You fight with your staff and you're going in to battle, and when you get a chance to do one of those, man, you don't want it to slip through, and so it was very rewarding for sure.
I'm sure that feeling never gets old. Okay, so getting this big win over Virginia Tech, an in-state rival, I guess you can say, as you guys continue to climb up the polls, what does this do moving forward for the program of Liberty and, like you just mentioned, recruiting?
Well, for year two, to be able to compete with some Power 5 schools, I think has expedited our journey and our expectations. Everybody's going to expect us to win every time we play an ACC opponent, but that's not what, I don't know that that's a reality, but I do expect us to compete, and that's, it's rewarding to win those, but man, just to be in the games, it's put us on the map for sure. It's going to help us in recruiting and continue to chase after Dr. Falwell's vision.
So we wrap things up. Coach Freeze has a thing where he watches film with his team on Sundays, gives them the truth, and then you throw it in the trash. I'm not ready to throw this one in the trash yet. Do we have to throw this one in the trash yet?
I told our guys that this morning. I said, you know what, we got to save these, and you're going to want to talk with your kids about that day in Blacksburg, so save everything you can find. Find a way to save it. Unfortunately, this game is it's what have you done for me lately, and we've got another game to play this Saturday. Which is Western Carolina. You said one of the biggest challenges will be getting your guys back down to earth after such an emotional win. How do you do it? They see that their coaching staff is extremely consistent in our approach. We don't do anything different from one week to another. They won't see me up like this on one week and down the next week. And then you hope that the leadership of your team echoes that in the locker room and on the practice field. And look, I don't expect our kids to be the same emotional peak every Saturday, but I do expect them to prepare the same way all week long, and we'll be tested with that this week. We'll find out starting tomorrow. Never too high, never too low, and you also said there's no such thing as too much confidence if the preparation is done. Coach Freeze, so excited to watch this team continue their success. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Emily.
Great stuff from Coach. Well, with the win, the Flames are now ranked in the top 25 in both the AP and the coaches poll. First time they've ever been ranked in both. Liberty literally making history every time they step on the field at this point. The Flames, without a doubt, one of the better stories in college football this season. And with them being such a good story, people around the country finally taking notice. No longer are they saying, oh, Liberty hasn't played anybody.
Matt, I'm so tired of the trash talk on social media. So let's get to some of the good stuff on our social media spotlight. Darren Ravel has 2 million followers, and he's saying Liberty is for real.
Horribly wrong in everything he talks about. But yeah, this time he's right. Liberty is for real. So great job, Darren.
Love that. Let's move right along. Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, what is this, a trend? He's on this list.
Liberty SID at this point, with as much stuff as he's posting.
Pretty much. He has the Flames fourth on the top teams of Week 10, so that's always good to see. A lot of photos coming from that win at Virginia Tech, but Coach Freeze posted this one saying it's his favorite of all time. Again, he has a lot that he loves in that photo group, but this one with his 3 daughters is his favorite. And then
this one's my favorite. I know, great for Freeze and his family. The gobble gobble, that's pretty good.
A little chippy for Liberty football, but I like it. So stay tuned all around social media as we keep those spotlights as Liberty has this success. Well, keeping our focus on football. This sport has always been the focus of Bryce Matthews, but it always hasn't been smooth sailing for the offensive lineman. There have been plenty of storms along the way, but he's learned that those storms were God pointing him in the right direction, which would bring him full circle on the football field.
I was probably the only kid who grew up saying, I want to be in the trenches blocking people. I didn't ever have any aspiration to, carry the ball, score touchdowns.
You could say Bryce Matthews was always destined to be an offensive lineman.
1997, my dad was playing for the Colts, and so immediately I was, thrown into that football atmosphere. And before I was even a year old, he ended up with the Tennessee Oilers and the Titans, and so I grew up a Titans fan and going to these games, and football was always, a big part of my life.
After a 10-year career in the NFL, Bryce's dad, Jason, would turn in his pads for a whistle and take to coaching the next generation of offensive linemen.
Growing up, I was able to have him as my coach from freshman year to senior year. He was my offensive line coach. And then senior year, he was my offensive line coach, my econ teacher, and my dad. And so I got to know my dad pretty well growing up, I would say.
After a stellar high school career at Brentwood Academy in Tennessee, the four-star recruit would have his choice of where he wanted to play college ball.
By the time it's all said and done, I got offers from, like I said, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Ole Miss, others who I can't remember right now, just because there was a pretty big amount.
Bryce would ultimately decide to sign with Ole Miss and their head coach, Hugh Freeze.
So it was a little bit of a roller coaster ride at Ole Miss, both on and off the field. A lot of things went down. Ideally, the plan I had in my head was, I will redshirt my first year, and then, I'll be a backup player, maybe get a few snaps here or there for the next year or two, and then hopefully going into that, third or fourth year, get some significant playing time.
After waiting patiently for his opportunity to become a starter for the Rebels, just when it looked like it was within his grasp, his health would betray him.
All of a sudden, one day during the summer workout, I feel something get messed up on my back, and I'm kind of like, okay, I've tweaked my back before, it might not be anything, but then this is something that just kind of kept lingering and getting worse. I was trying to tell them I'm good to go, I can push through it, and they were saying we don't want you out there, with an injury like that, and so they're going to have me as a backup player. I'll be, a sixth man, and be out there for, field goal or whatever they need me to do.
With the door closing on his chances to start at Ole Miss, Bryce would turn to God to show him his next steps.
I had my plan, but, God's bigger than all that. He has a much bigger plan, and for whatever reason, that was, not meant to be for me to play much. And so I prayed on it a lot and, just asked God to try to guide me where I needed to go. When I go in the transfer portal, Coach Freeze had just, taken this job at Liberty. And so that was the first place I wanted to reach out to. And being able to go into the transfer portal, and then at that point, it's, kind of no man's land where you don't know where you're going to land.
Looking for a place to call home for his final season, Bryce would ultimately decide on Liberty University and the coach he committed to originally, Hugh Freeze.
I had to get waivers to say, they didn't help recruit me here from the old staff, and so it was just a lot of hurdles to jump through, but it makes sense, because when has my journey ever been smooth, through the whole process? It's just been one thing after the other, through the bowl bans and coach firings and all of that, injuries, and so I just knew it was another hurdle. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and luckily, it worked out.
Bryce's college football journey may not have always gone according to plan, but now at Liberty, he hopes to make the most of the second chance God has given him.
I'm able to come here to this school where it's a whole new atmosphere, all these people, all these players that I don't know, and I get the opportunity to meet new people and go, hopefully, show my abilities on the field in a new place, and just, embrace what's different about it. And I have an opportunity here that I might not have had if I hadn't gotten hurt, hadn't been at Ole Miss to begin with. Football is great, but it's not everything. It's what I do, but it's not who I am. And so being able to use it for all that I can is definitely, I think my purpose is at this point, but understanding that, it may not go the way I expect it to, but that's okay, because God, has a bigger picture in mind.
Well, coming up, Liberty basketball adds 2 big-time recruits, and we'll give you a look at the Flames' new arena.
Plus, Rhett joins us for another warm, hot, and fuego. That's when Flames Central returns.
Welcome to Liberty University's online programs, where living out your calling with integrity is what you train to do, and getting ready for the future doesn't mean missing out on the now. Because a university is more than buildings and books, and an education should set you free, not fence you in. Welcome to Liberty's global campus, where distance learning was pioneered and evolved into one of the top-ranked schools in the nation, where protecting your budget, your time, and your education isn't just a theory, it's our priority. Here, degrees in your field reflect industry demands and help get you ahead of the competition. Where college comes to you, but you can come to college too. Game day, homecoming, graduation day, your school, your values, your experience, your choice. Welcome to Liberty University, where we train champions for Christ.
What is your dream? Your calling? At Liberty University, we want to empower you through every chapter of your story. Here, you'll have opportunities to practice and excel across different fields. And that doesn't just end at the classroom door. At Liberty, we unite through Christ to pursue things larger than ourselves, because in Him, we are able. So, what is your calling? Liberty University can ignite it, and your outcome will change the world.
Hey, welcome back to Flames Central. Liberty basketball has earned back-to-back NCAA tournament bids, and with National Signing Day taking place on Wednesday, you might say the rich are getting richer, or Richie is getting richer. You like that? That's why you watch. Head coach Richie McKay thrilled with the two-man class the Flames have signed, beginning with the pride of Hartselle, Alabama, Brody Peebles. The dude is a straight-up bucket getter. He scored 29 points per game in his junior season while shooting 56% from the field. The other half of this class comes in the form of Joseph Vinzant. The three-star prospect is a lockdown defender whose athleticism wreaks havoc on the offensive end as well. He averaged 21 points, 6 boards per game last year and is ranked the 49th best shooting guard in the nation. Now, one thing is certain with the addition of Peebles and Vinzant, Flames are going to be good at the guard spot for years to come. And also, the two complement each other very well. As for the pair of signees, they're thrilled to be joining a program that's building something special.
I'm just super excited to be, have it done on paper and for it to be official. So, it was an easy decision from, day one, from my visit and, from the first time I talked to him on the phone and first time we met in person, it was evident, the kind of person Coach was and the kind of program that he was building at Liberty.
As soon as I went on the official visit, I knew that's the place I wanted to be, just the environment and the people. I felt like that was the place God was calling me to be. So I'm extremely excited to be a part of this family and this program, so just ready to get out there.
Whew. If those new signees don't get you excited, then maybe this next feature will. The new Liberty Arena is finally getting its finishing touches. The $65 million project will seat 4,000 fans, which should give a more intimate home court advantage feel. A few days ago, Coach McKay gave us an inside look when he surprised his team with their first ever practice in the new Liberty Arena.
All right, you guys, welcome. You're going to be one of the first to be a part of just a little small celebration. Our guys think we're going to practice like normal in the practice gym that we're blessed to even have, and we're actually going to have our first day in the new arena. So come on, let's see what it's like. Let's go right here. Turn that off, please. Hey, man. And can we continue this in the new arena? Let's go. I just think it's going to be one of the neatest home court environments that mid-major basketball has to offer.
When I first walked in, I kind of compared it to VCU, and you know how VCU has that top 10 atmosphere. I hope we can recreate that here. I think it kind of gives me that vibe just walking into it, so I would love for that to be the same thing at Liberty.
I think the rims might be a little bigger in here or something. It felt good shooting in here. I don't think I touched the rim not once.
Oh yeah, you know what it is. I can feel like the fans just being kind of right on top of you. The lighting's amazing. The court is phenomenal. So just kind of the whole atmosphere. A place like this is amazing to call home, and they did a really good job.
Counting down the days to that first game in the new Liberty Arena. Well, staying on the hardwood, like countless programs across the country, Lady Flames basketball was another team that had its season cut short due to COVID-19. Because the conference championship game was canceled, Liberty finished tied for the ASUN crown. But that doesn't make the Lady Flames any less hungry to win the title outright this season.
Last season saw the Lady Flames' hopes of an ASUN championship dashed by COVID-19, which makes their anticipation for this season at an all-time high.
I am very excited. I can say last year I was crushed. I was so hyped after we won that North Alabama game. I was just so hyped. And then when they finally told me, the game's not gonna happen, I was crushed for so long. And then I was just like, I can't dwell on this. I gotta think about next year.
As the Lady Flames enter into a new season, The leadership on the team have noticed some very important areas of strength.
We have a lot of talent. That's definitely our strength. I don't think we'll be lacking in our bench area. We have 2 or 3 girls at every position that are just equally as good, which is exciting to have.
Our team is even better than we were last year. We have so many different weapons. There's no pressure on one person to just be perfect. And so I just think that with the combination of our leadership and just our coaching staff, we're just going to do great things this year.
I am really pleased with how hard the team is working and the depth of our team. And if we're playing back-to-back, I think we certainly need to use that depth. So good leadership, a lot of talent, and we just hope that we can continue to build daily and just take small steps forward.
And Coach Green believes that if enough small steps are taken, the Flames can be a formidable opponent by year's end.
This team has a lot of potential. We just got to reach it, There's so much to reaching that. Number one is just recognize that their attitude, their work ethic, and efficiency, getting the job done, staying in that process, and just one of the phrases we've been using is just continue chopping wood and carrying water every day and seeing how that would polish us up to being the best we possibly can.
Just heard his voice. Now you get to see him. Right. The Canuck with all the luck. Rhett McGibbon joins us for Warm, Hot, and Fuego this week. Top plays, players, moments from the past week.
That's right.
There were a few with Liberty football here this past Saturday. Rhett, starts off, do you have a theme this week?
I do. It's actually World Kindness Day this past week.
Shouldn't every day be World Kindness Day?
But, I don't really buy into that sometimes. Because sometimes you have to just give a little jab here and there to get people to improve. And I think CJ Yarbrough, he's warm this week, did that against some of the DBs for Virginia Tech. He said, you're really not that good. There needs to be improvement. And kindness sometimes just lets people plateau. You don't need that stuff. Yeah, tough love is right. CJ Yarbrough, I love this first route he did. Like the outside, then back up the go.
This set the tone for the game.
It really did. He burnt that guy. I actually said Yarbrough was going to have 2 touchdowns. That was close.
That was your prediction.
It was pretty near that. But, man, he just had a great week. Yeah. And going on this, I think he had the 2 most important catches of the game.
Yeah.
The first one was that flutter where the arm got hit from Willis and it's just hanging in the air. He goes up there and gets it. Otherwise, you're not going to see that touchdown by Pickett. That was a 3rd down play, and probably they're punting after that. And then later on, he's able to get out of bounds quickly, which set up the field goal. He had a monstrous week.
Great to see him healthy, because we know how dangerous he can be. Finally getting healthy, so scary for defenses playing the Flames coming up. All right, from warm, we go to hot.
Hot, Hugh Freeze, and there's so much to talk about here. The first thing is that against Virginia Tech, he called a near perfect game. And when you've seen him against opponents, ACC opponents this year, Syracuse, I don't think you have a ton of wiggle room because Liberty doesn't have quite the same depth that they do. And his ability just to call a game that is so spot on has been tremendous this season. Like we said, 7-0, biggest win in program history. He's the perfect fit because you've seen guys develop under his tutelage. Malik Willis went from being a guy that Auburn said, no, you're not going to be our starter. And now he's getting some legit Heisman talk around him. And if you had asked me at the beginning of the year, I'd have been like, no way. But under the Freeze system, he has just been so spectacular. And you see other guys growing there as well. I don't think you could have put the pieces to the puzzle any better together with him here.
He's been fantastic, which is why he got a contract extension as well. Good for him. All right, finally, in Fuego, Rhett. Who's in Fuego?
In Fuego, Alex Barbier. What a moment for him. And I did some digging here, some numbers. This season, this was no sure thing, and I don't understand why Fuente called that timeout. Horrible decision. I'm sorry, Coach, but it was. Missed a 48-yarder, missed a 42-yarder. He had a 42-yarder block.
Didn't matter.
Missed a 36 and a 33. So this moment, getting it through the uprights, I'd love to ask him, was this the biggest kick of your life?
No doubt.
And the best kick of your life? Because he nailed that thing. If it was a 59-yarder like a few moments ago, I think he still would have had it.
Thriving on the pressure.
That's right.
Much like yourself, Rhett. Thank you for your time today. Still to come, some shuffling in our Flames fantasy football standings. Rhett won't like this. Who's moving up? Who's moving down? We'll show you when Flames Central returns.
Where do you want to make an impact? At Liberty University, whatever your calling, you can gain the hands-on experience and knowledge you need to truly excel in your future career. With over 200 residential programs of study, you can find a degree that fits you and learn from professors committed to mentoring and guiding you along the way. So, what is your calling? Liberty University can ignite it, and your outcome will change the world.
Welcome back to Flames Central. We know you're sticking around to see an update in our Flames fantasy results. So just to get you up to speed, we each selected our teams of 5 Flames earlier this season. Here are the updated scores.
Yes.
Look at Matt Warner.
How about that? People wrote me off. They said I was dead. No.
You're a second half guy.
Comeback time. Second place, Rhett, he closed the gap on you a little bit too.
Yeah, but I'm not worried. My defense will Darrell Johnson, Trayshawn Clark this week. I know they'll keep me in the game, and Rhett is going to end in last place. I have a strong feeling about that.
I love how we don't even mention Joe Yacht because he's basically locked up the championship.
I don't know. With your confidence, you might be able to get him by the end of the season.
Well, that's about it for this week's show. Thank you so much for watching. Hit us up on the website, libertyflames.com. Click that Flames Central button. We'd love to have you check us out.
For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you next time.